Hello, and welcome to Beyond Books, where we talk about books and beyond. I'm your host. I'm Renee. Got my co-host Raina today, and today is Tag Tuesday. So we are going to do a tag. This tag is called the Used Bookstore Tag, and it is an original tag by Kelly at Books I'm Not Reading, and I was tagged by Stuart at Stuart Griffin. So Kelly says that this is an original tag. I can't wait to see your versions of this tag or read your answers in the comments section. In general, I am grateful for all bookstores, including those that sell used books. I've had some bizarre experiences in the past, and I'm hoping turning this into a tag will turn some of my negative experiences into a celebration of used bookstores everywhere. Well, yep, used bookstores can really be up and down throughout the years. So let's see what I have to say about the situation. We'll start with prompt one. What is your favorite or most often visited used bookstore, and what sets it apart or makes it special? Well, right now, my number one bookstore, used bookstore that I absolutely love to go to, and I go very frequently, I don't think it's going to come as a surprise, that is the Goodwill. I do go just about every Monday. I almost always buy at least one book and sometimes another item from the store, something that's a household or decorative item. And what sets it apart from me is that I like the fact that almost anything and everything ends up there. I mean, it's the Goodwill. So the Goodwill that I go to is only a few blocks from William and Mary College in Williamsburg. And I think it's just a kind of, well-educated, bookish reading type of community. And it makes for some really fine pickings over there at the Goodwill. So right now, that is my absolutely favorite used bookstore to go to. Number two, does your used bookstore take credit? If so, how much credit do you get for your books? And do they give cash for your books? Well, of course, they do not at the Goodwill. But what I remember from the last times I ever did this kind of thing with used bookstores was that generally speaking, you will not get cash. They usually give you a little ticket that you can spend back into the bookstore itself. So that's, I think, usually pretty typical, and they do not give you very much. And I would imagine today they give you even less and almost make it to a point where it's kind of almost not worth it for you to do it. I mean, unless you have like really nice collectible books or something, I don't know, that might be a different situation, but just books, paperbacks, and things that circulate around, yeah, you're not going to get much for those probably. Um, but I have thought about maybe reselling my books back to thrift books. But usually the books that I unhaul are not ones that I initially really spent a lot for, and I truly want other people to enjoy them. So I will generally return them to the little free library or just donate them to the library. And I also pass my books around within my community, actual physical community. And sometimes I just get to the point where I just ask, the third person to borrow the book or the last person to borrow the book or whatever to just donate it, somewhere when they are done. So that's generally what I do with the used books. So prompt number three, how often do you go to your used bookstore? And can you share how much credit you have there? Okay, well, like I say, I go every Monday to the Goodwill. Um, there's a little free library at the park where I take Raina. She's going to get excited when she hears the word park, so I've got to be careful. So I check that probably about once a week. And I'll also generally, I knew I shouldn't have got the crunchy ones. I'll also generally check out the library in Williamsburg on days that I walk around that colonial area that I've showed you on my channel. Now they sell books usually for, I think it's $1 or $2. They sell their used books. And they often have some really great choices available also. Again, kind of the same reason. It's very, very near the college community. Um, and so online, I'll usually just shop if there's something specific that I'm looking for, like, from thrift books or something like that, something I need for a buddy read or, something along those lines that I'll usually get from thrift books. Now, they don't give you credit, but at certain levels that you're at, because you've purchased, so much money in the past, it's really not a lot. They will give you a free book, but that's only a free book that's up to like $7 or something like that. So a lot of times that would just be the little paperback, mass paperback version, or like something like that. You're you don't really, again, necessarily get that much. If it could be $7 off any order of books, that might be useful, but $7 towards one book, that means that you're kind of buying the things that they probably can't sell a lot anyway. But hey, it's better than getting nothing. I mean, that's, I'm good with it. I've gotten a few books that way. Let's see. So what, if any, restrictions does your used bookstore have on how you can use your credit? Well, again, I'm really not presently doing this kind of thing, but like on thrift books, those free books that they give you, now that's another thing. Your free book credit will run out at a certain time, but they're pretty good about sending you an email letting you know when that's going to happen. And you can just go ahead and just order that free book if you want. So if you can find one for under $7 that you're interested in, you purchase that and you don't have to pay anything and it comes in the mail. So that's kind of a nice deal. I don't even think I have any free book credits right now. I've probably used all of them. But anyway, even if I went to a used bookstore that gave credit, I would want something where you could use that credit right away. I wouldn't want to come back with the credit or anything like that. It's probably better to just, like, if I turn in 10 books and I get, I don't know how much, $3 or $5 or who knows what, I would want to spend that, right away. So I know I'd come back out with only like a couple of books that I'd probably still have to toss in some money besides, but that's fine. I would just want to use it up while I had it, I guess. So number 5, how is your used bookstore organized, and do you like or dislike, or what do you like or dislike about how it's organized? Now, don't even get me started on this, because recently the Goodwill decided in their, great corporate wisdom, that they would align the books by color. Really? Really, Goodwill? It's terrible, because your eye it just can't scan the titles very quickly. All it sees is the same block of color, and it's ridiculous. I mean, give me the bad old days of books stacked and just thrown haphazardly around on the shelf, and let me discover why I went in there in the first place on my own, because I can assure you, I did not go in to find a red book or a green book. I went in to discover a book that I didn't know existed, or one that I haven't seen in years. Let me discover, uncover, whatever you want to call it. Don't organize the books by color. Goodwill, oh, for goodness sakes. Raina, come on, back up on the bed, babe. Come on. Good girl. Good girl. Crunch, crunch, crunch. Okay, excuse me. Number 6. What is the best find or deal you got at a used bookstore? Well, I remember this year, or maybe even late last year, at the Goodwill, I found several hardcover Stephen King books for $2 each. Looked like someone just donated their whole collection, all in near perfect condition. I got just about every single one of them that was there. So that was, a pretty nice deal. I mean, you can see they look brand new. I have several like this. At least, I don't know. I must have got that day probably at least 8 of them. I could barely walk out with them because they're so heavy and big. I had to get a cart. I also got a set of Steinbeck books that were $1 each, and most were not only in good condition, but most are also this classic centennial edition. So the covers all look the same like that, and so that's kind of cool because they look good on the shelf that way. All with the same covers, and this one's a little bit different, but I still like it. Has a cool cover. So that's all good. That was a good find. Okay, so number 7. Is there something you saw in your used bookstore and now you regret not purchasing it? Not really. My first answer was no, not really. But as I'm thinking about it, I guess it is in the back of my mind. I did find a set of Harry Potter books, just like the Stephen King books, all hardcover, all in really perfect condition. They would have been like $2 each. So yeah, I guess the Harry Potter books. But really, I mean, I only like to keep so many books at a time. And I trust that, I purchase what's right for me, and I'll just pass on whatever doesn't work. So I guess the answer is still no, not really. Prompt number 8. Is there a book you are always on the hunt for at your used bookstore? Right now, I'm going to say no, although I will always take a second look at any book of the month. Sometimes that's another thing. People will just donate like a whole year's worth of their book of the month selections. Again, perfect condition. I mean, they've probably been read once or twice or something. But I used to always be on the lookout for A Stranger in a Strange Land by Robert A. Heinlein. This was a book that I had wanted to read since high school, but I just never kind of came across it, I guess, any time I was looking for it. And I finally decided to order it from Thrift Books, and this is the edition that I got. And I read it this past August. And after all those years of waiting for it, believe it or not, I really didn't care for it. It's okay, but I mean, yeah, just okay for me. That's all it really was. Now, I have some other Heinleins that I did find at the Goodwill. They're kind of banged up and old, but that's okay. I don't mind. They've got a vibe, they've got a vibe to them. And I would try these just to see if I like them better, someday. I mean, there's no definite plans, but maybe someday I will read Job, A Comedy of Justice. Or this one has a cool title, The Number of the Beast. Or Farnham's Freehold. So we'll see. Let's see what happens. If you could run your used bookstore for a day, what changes would you make? Well, what I would do is I would want to section off an area of the Goodwill and maybe put in some old chairs, even if they're the ones that are for sale, but just something that's comfortable. We can leave the price tags on them, and I guess people can buy them if they really need to. But then I'd also put in some old tables and coffee tables and end tables. I decorate the walls with some of the donated stuff, again with the price tags on. And I just have all of the shelves in between. and I would only have like books in that area other than the seating and stuff like that. And I would let people just toss the books everywhere and anywhere. They could keep them in stacks, or like I say, we could have some shelving, and maybe every once in a while I'd organize it. But for the most part, I'd let everything just stay where it landed, because it's meant to be found maybe by the next person who comes along or whatever, who knows. But that's how I would like that to be arranged. And then I would like to let the kids have books for free. So maybe the YA and the children's picture books, if the kids start taking an interest in them, anytime they came, they could take home like one free book or something. So number 10, if you could go used book shopping with any booktuber in any city, who would you go with and where? Well, my answer is, oh my God, please don't make me choose. Honestly, and I mean this sincerely, all of you with whom I regularly interact would be an asset and would probably be a hoot to have along on a trip to shop for used books. Any city, USA or otherwise. From the bottom of my heart, I know that you love books as much as I do. And I know that you would be willing to share your knowledge and help me find the right books for me, just like I would help you. So that would just be fun. I think no matter which one of the booktubers, like I say, with whom I regularly interact, those of you that know me a little bit and I know you a little bit, we would just have a blast. Hey, you never know. You never know. I may contact you someday and say I'm traveling to your area. Well, can you show me your favorite used bookstore, or any bookstore for that matter? And we can go and have a nice time. That would be a lot of fun. So the next prompt is what it usually is. Tag some other booktubers. So I will tag a few people in the description box. But if you are watching this, please feel free to go ahead and do it. This is a fun tag because it really does get you thinking about the world of used books as opposed to the world of new books, and why you may interact in one maybe more than another. I mean, I know I'm used book girl all the way. I'm on team used book, but there's a whole world of new books also. And like I say, who doesn't love going into a bookstore with all brand new books and that great smell, the smell of the great coffee? This isn't a great coffee, but it's a coffee. Anyway, it's fun. So I thank you for watching. If you haven't subscribed already, please feel free to do so. I'm encouraging you to do so. And please hit the like button. Leave me a comment. Have you read any of these books? What do you think? I've got to start really thinking about getting these read and and moved along. So let me know if there's something that really jumped out at you that you think I should take a look at sooner than later. I thank you so much for watching. Have a great day.